Hey guys, it's Janari here. So today is another, I guess you would call it like dating horror story. This one's really scary to me because once again I have no real horror stories, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to talk about my horrible dating life. Okay, so it all started last year in August. I got invited to a house party, something that never really happens. It was by these two girls who lived together. Now, these girls were kind of crazy. They would just invite anybody over to their house, and one of these people just so happened to be like a friend, I guess. They don't even really remember him. I mentioned the guy to them, and they were like, we don't know who he is. And then I mentioned, so anyway, yeah. So I meet him, and I'm just drinking, and then his friend, I end up like meeting his friend who's right next to him. He's drinking too, and we just get talking, and he's like, oh, you're Nigerian? I'm Nigerian because I told him my name, or whatever. He heard my last name, I guess, and he told me his, and his friend was Nigerian too, so we ended up exchanging numbers. And the weird thing is I ended up talking to his friend more. I still talk to him, but I completely stopped talking to this guy, and then I'm going to tell you guys why. Okay, so you know how you're not really interested in someone, but they're interested in you more? That was kind of like the situation here. I ended up finally hanging out with him because he was like, you know what, we should really go to Dave & Buster's, because I like Dave & Buster's, you know, it's just something to do in Austin, because everything is so non-mainstream that it's like mainstream, that something that's as cliche as Dave & Buster's, people don't even go to anymore. So now to me it's like, oh, that's different, but it's not really to somebody else. So we go there, and I had a pretty good time, but when I was talking to him and getting to know him, I could tell that I wasn't really interested in him. And then on top of that, I wasn't sure what his intentions were. I didn't know if he wanted to date or what he wanted, because when I was speaking to him, it was more like on a friendship basis. And I had never had a guy friend, so I was just like, okay, cool, you know, whatever. So anyway, after that, after going to Dave & Buster's, he calls me up one day, and I was like, hey, I'm just studying right now. And he said, oh, really? He's like, what are you studying? And I told him I was just doing a little bit of math. And he said, I can help you study. And so I was like, wow, okay, you know, that's cool. Because like Nigerian people in general are really good at like math and science, and they pretty much excel at anything. So I really believed him when he said, oh, I'm good at math. I didn't take it as anything. I just figured, okay, he's good at math. So that night he said, well, you know what, we kind of make like a little like fun date or whatever. And I was like, we can hang out. He said, yeah, I'll bring over some food. He said, what do you like? And I was like, well, the only thing that's near me is like a Popeyes, and there's really nothing near me. So he said, yeah, let's do that, Popeyes. So he said, what do you want? And I was like, well, they have like that 2-piece special. You can get that, you know. I wasn't trying to make him spend a whole bunch, because he's the one who's picking it up. And probably like some red beans and rice and a biscuit, something. So he said, yeah, okay, cool. I think that's gonna be like $5. Do you just want to give it to me when I get there, or do you want to like, how do you want to do it? And I was like, you just invited yourself, and whatever. Okay, and don't call this a date then. Like 100%. That's how I am. I don't know how you guys are, but don't call that a date. So anyway, I don't know what ended up happening, but we just didn't hang out that night. Funny thing is that I couldn't remember this guy's name for the life of me, so I ended up naming him Popeye's Pay, because that's the only way I could remember him. But in reality, his name was Raphael. So after that, it was like, oh, Ninja Turtles. Yeah. So a few weeks passed by, and we're talking like here and there. It's very spotty. Like I'll talk to him every 3 weeks maybe, and but those little 3 weeks, he would take advantage of it and talk to me like every day and wouldn't leave me alone. So I was kind of like, ooh, this is getting kind of, you know, pushy. So one day, he asked, because I wasn't taking this guy seriously. Like, I don't take, if you're trying to date me, don't talk to me like every 3 months. I'm just kidding. Like once or twice a month. Like, I need consistency and persistence. That's just how I am. Like, I need to know. You know, nowadays relationships are so weird. Like, you can be friends with benefits and you're only talking like once or twice a month, but they still want you to like do relationship things, and I don't work like that. That's just not how I work, and I'm not going to be like loyal to somebody who I just don't talk to enough. So I ended up going out of town, and supposedly me and him, we were supposed to go out. I probably did tell him, oh yeah, Thursday night is great, but I'm a busy girl. I'm single. Like, I'm not, if I have something to do, I have something to do. I have to work. So I worked out in Houston that week. So he calls me. He's like, hey, you want to start getting ready? And I was like, what? You know, I had completely forgot about this. Apparently, me and him were supposed to go out that night around like 7. And I don't even remember giving him a time, because I'm not one of those people that will give you like a specific time. I'll say like 9ish, or between blah blah blah. So I don't even remember him saying, like, that's not even me, but whatever. He gets extremely upset with me. He's yelling and just doing all kinds of crazy, like, you know, just like, and you accusing me of having a boyfriend. I probably did. No, I'm just kidding. No, but he was just acting so crazy. Like, that was weird. So at this point, all I hear is this. I'm just like not listening, because I'm just not interested, realistically here. After that, he just yells out, and I read your diary. Okay, let me explain to you guys how he did this. After persistence, for like the 3 days that he would do it out of the month, I was like, well, I'm in town in the area, and I said I'm going to stop by because he had been asking me to come over, and I just want to see what he's about. So he kept saying that I wasn't giving us a fair chance. That's what he literally kept saying. He was like, I'm different, blah, blah. You know, it's always that, right? Guys are always like, I'm different, I'm this and I'm that, and they end up not being any different than anybody you've ever talked to. Anyway, I give Mr. Different a chance, and I go over to his house. Now, because I was kind of like visiting the area, well, I was visiting Austin. I don't remember. Oh, I had just moved out of my apartment, so I was kind of like, anyway, I was staying with my brother for a month. And he was like, well, you can't come home after 10 o'clock. I had did hair all day, and I was just like, you know, I'm just going to go to his house and hang out, finally. I get there, and the whole house smells like a goosey soup, stockfish, red soup. I mean, it just smelled like the strongest, like, smell ever. They never open the windows when they cook. And I was just like, you know how you're trying to like breathe, but you're trying to like breathe in slowly because you think you're not breathing in as much? I was like, you're trying to hold it, but no, it doesn't work like that. Like, it doesn't matter how much you breathe, it's still the same. So I had something, and I put it in his refrigerator, and I look, and there's like tubs and tubs of ice cream full of soup. I was just like, this is not the most Nigerian thing I have ever seen in my entire life. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I was just annoyed. I went upstairs, and his room, it smelled like a gym. Like, it smelled really bad, and I was really trying to be a trooper here. I was being nice because I'm one of those people who know me know I don't like stinky smells. Like, I don't like the smell of outside. I don't like smelly people, smelly breath, like smelly. I don't like that. I like it nice and clean. And so I told him, I was like, oof. So this house really smells like, you should tell them to open the window when they cook. I know it sounds so ignorant, but guys, I couldn't deal with it. We get upstairs, we're talking a little bit. He's like, do you want to watch a movie? I had kind of worked all day, so I didn't really feel like staying up to watch a movie. I didn't mind chilling and hanging out and talking maybe, but if I fall asleep on you, don't be upset. So I said, you know what, let me take a shower really quick. I can't sleep with dirty feet. That's another thing. And I wear sandals. This was a summertime-ish kind of thing going on. So, yeah. Went to his bathroom, took a shower. I was in the shower for like 10 minutes, came out, and, you know, we're hanging out. We're having a really good time. Like, we're talking. The way that he spoke, I knew that he kind of needed to grow up. He still lived with his parents, and he was living in his old room. And he was like 26, 25, or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. I totally get it, trying to get your life together. But he was motivated, but at the same time unmotivated, if you know what I mean. Like, he was totally fine where he was, and he was fine with being there for about 5 more years, what he told me. And that was just like, whew. I mean, I know that sometimes things can change, but when you're already not interested in somebody, that just plummets. So we're talking, and the next morning, I go home and whatever, do my hair, do whatever I needed to do. Whatever I needed to do. Now fast forward to the phone call. When he yelled that out, I knew immediately. He was just like, I read your diary. You like to use guys for money. Ooh. I was just like, what the, like, how, what? And obviously it's because he read my diary, but I was like, how much time, how many pages did you read? And I was like, what did he read? and stuff like that. Okay, let me explain something. I was in a relationship with a guy, but me and him, we had kind of been going like back and forth, and if I needed something, he would give it to me. And I think that it was mainly out of guilt of him being an asshole of a boyfriend. So yeah, that's what he was reading, because I went back in my diary and I was like, what did he read exactly? And yep, those pages, it was of me and my ex. Now mind you guys, me and this guy, number one, we were not in a relationship, we were barely even talking, and just because he wasn't even going about courting somebody the correct way. He was just kind of like, okay, if I talk to you every 3 months, every, once a week that I'm on you, that's enough for the next 2-3 weeks. And I'm not like that. I need consistency. So yeah, he was upset with me, screaming at me, and I mean, that was just a real fuckboy move. Like, you don't read my diary. And the crazy thing is that he went through my bag, like my overnight bag. He just went through it and skimmed and like rummaged through it and was reading my diary. Like, that is the most unspeakable, like, horrible thing you can do. Like, come on, that's my personal business. And I would have rather him go through my phone, because at least through my phone you can see like more of a better picture, I guess. My diary is just like raw things, and I wish he would have read the page where I wrote that I wasn't interested in him. Then that would have really like given him the idea to leave me alone. So yeah, anyway guys, that guy went through my purse, found my diary, read it, and yelled the stuff that was in there at me because I wasn't interested in it. Well, because he just was being an asshole. The crazy thing is that I wasn't even, my ex, he deserved to get used or whatever, so I didn't even feel guilty about it. Number one, the way to overcome those type of situations is to not even feel guilty about it. It is what it is. I didn't deny anything in there. I was just like, yeah, but he was just like, and he really thought he was making me feel bad or something, and he wasn't. Like, that's what it is. I own up to my shit. Like, once you know who you are and you're okay with what you're doing and you know why you're doing it, there's nothing you can tell me. So there was nothing that he could tell me about myself that I didn't know, unless he was just making up something because he was upset. And that's that. So yeah guys, that was my little dating horror story for Halloween about the fuckboy who read my diary. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
We can both fit in. Cuddle up as we get buried deep.